Before the season started, would you have guessed that the Dallas Mavericks would be the most disappointing team in the NBA after just having made the Western Conference Finals last year? Nobody could have seen that coming, and honestly, it's pretty unfortunate because they are wasting a talent like Luka Doncic right in front of our eyes. If you are new around here, consider hitting that sub and like button, and let's get into today's video. So we're going to be talking about the Dallas Mavericks and how they might not even make the play-in tournament for a team that was 4 games away from the NBA Finals just last season. So if you can recall, earlier in the season, the Mavericks were hovering around the 4th or 5th seed. So pretty expected because they don't really have a deep roster in general. So you were like, okay, that makes some sense. They'll probably go and get to like the second round of the playoffs, and that'll be considered pretty successful because you're just waiting to get that next superstar next to Luka. And then right before the trade deadline happens, the Sunday of, they go out and they trade for Kyrie Irving. And to go ahead and acquire Mr. Flat Earth, they had to give up Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, Spencer Dinwiddie is kind of inconsistent and isn't the best player, but still somebody who can provide scoring and a little bit of playmaking. And Dorian Finney-Smith is a really good defender who desperately helped them out a lot, and they have been missing a ton since he departed. After losing back-to-back games to the Charlotte Hornets, again, they were not playing the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, they played the Charlotte Hornets. They are now 36-9 and the 11th seed in the Western Conference Finals. If the season ended today, the Dallas Mavericks would not even make the play-in tournament. Let's just go ahead and look at some of the teams in front of them. The Oklahoma City Thunder, no Chet Holmgren, and a really young team, and they are still having a better season than the Dallas Mavericks. The Los Angeles Lakers, who have missed Anthony Davis and LeBron James for a significant amount of time, and the New Orleans Pelicans, who have been missing Zion for the last couple of months. Luka's been playing. I mean, he had a minor leg injury, but besides that, he's been playing, and yet they still cannot figure it out between him and Kyrie Irving. It has been awful since he got there. Now, the question is, where do we put the blame? You're not going to put it on Luka Doncic. He's somebody who gives you 33, 9, and 8 a night. Great player, good efficiency. He knows how to score from all around the court. And then you're not going to put the blame on Kyrie solely because, this season he's averaging 27, 5, and 5. He's a superstar. We know who Kyrie is. Come on. You know who Kyrie is. And then the rest of the team is pretty lackluster, but it can really be drawn to one person. And I think a lot of people would agree with me, especially Mavericks fans, that Jason Kidd has no right to be coaching this team right now. I'm not saying he can't be an NBA coach, but for the Dallas organization, he has no credentials to back up his coaching right now. Yes, they did make the Western Conference Finals last year, but that was on the back of Luka carrying the team. Jason Kidd's coaching was not a factor on why they made it so deep into the playoffs last year. So they are 3-8 in the 11 games that both Kyrie and Luka have played together. And one of the biggest reasons that this team will not do anything with the current roster construction is their defense. Their defense is awful. It is bottom 5 in a lot of stats. They are the 23rd ranked team in defensive rating. But again, this is total season. This does not take into account after they lost Dorian Finney-Smith. They're in the bottom half of the league in steals, blocks, rebounding, pretty much every stat on defense. They are towards the bottom. They just cannot defend a parked car. And another thing I don't think a lot of people are talking about is getting Kyrie Irving for somebody like Luka Doncic is a little redundant because Kyrie is just a smaller version of Luka, and Luka is just a taller version of Kyrie when it comes to their play style. Both can hit threes when needed, but they're not three-point shooters. They great at finishing in the lane. Their mid-ranges are really good, and their layup packages are really nice. So this is something where it's almost like you're pretty much just duplicating Luka, but Luka needs somebody who is different from him and can play really good defense. Somebody like a Drew Holiday would be a perfect fit next to Luka. And I feel like the Mavericks organization has failed Luka time and time again. And again, I'm not a big Luka fan. I don't really like Luka too much. I think he complains a lot and talks to the refs more than he does his own team during games. But he's still a great player, and you can't deny that he's a top 5 player. They've just made moves where you kind of scratch your head. Trading Kristaps Porzingis, and I don't know, Porzingis isn't some superstar, but he's still a star in the league, and he fit pretty well next to Luka. He gave him rim protection and three-point shooting. Deciding to let Jalen Brunson walk with just seeing how good Brunson is this year, and he wasn't really asking for like top money. New York got an absolute steal with Brunson, and he was somebody who fit great next to Luka, and he's one of the reasons they made the Western Conference Finals last year. That's another thing is when you don't have somebody like that anymore, of course, your scoring's going to be great, but your overall team play is just not going to be there. Now, as I'm recording this, you guys will see it after, but they are playing the Indiana Pacers as of today, and Luka was suspended for getting his 16th technical of the year, but they ended up rescinding that, which I do think is a little bit of favoritism, because I think if somebody like a Devin Booker or something got a suspension, they're not going to rescind it for whatever reason. So that's kind of whack, but we'll see how they do. I don't even think they'll beat the Pacers. I mean, losing to the Hornets without LaMelo and Terry Rozier back-to-back games, that's pretty crazy for any team. Even the Rockets, the Houston Rockets, losing back-to-back would be like, okay, that's kind of surprising, because even without their two best players, you think they'd beat them. So yeah, that's just a quick video on how the Dallas Mavericks are in a tragic situation, and they might lose Kyrie Irving in the offseason. I think most likely Kyrie Irving is going to try to make his way to LA to play with LeBron James, or he's going to pick a different organization he wants to play for. I do not think he's going to be a Dallas Maverick next year. So they traded away Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith for practically nothing, because he was half a year rental and they won't even make the playoffs. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit that sub and like button. It would be much appreciated. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.